What's on your mind?
Don't ever stop. Don't ever stop.
What do you think?
Oh, what do you think? What do you think here this morning? I haven't got my tea. My tea is on the other end of the table over there. I haven't got my tea. That's what I think. I was so busy getting Grace. What have I got Gracie on the brain here this morning? Where's Penny? She left. She goes, if you're not going to put me first, I'm out of here. Anyways, all right, I'm Ann Eller. Penny. Penny is working on becoming socialized, and she thinks that being a wild child is so much more fun. But anyways, she is so much fun. But then again, she's got this side of her that you just go, oh my God, why do I have this dog? Why do I have this dog? She just every once in a while gets this wild hair and she just goes nuts. But anyway, she really is just a delightful child. She has all these toys. I don't know why, but she has all these toys, and she takes care of each and every one of them. I am totally amazed, having had a Gracie Weimaraner who, if you gave her any type of soft stuffed toy or whatever, she would tear it up in less than 5 minutes. She'd figure out a way to destroy it. So her whole life was spent with Kongs and things that she couldn't destroy. With Penny, Princess Penny, it's so much fun because she keeps each and every one, and each and every one gets appropriate playtime. You know, she's not like, oh, I've got a new toy, the rest are old, I'm not going to play with them. She loves each and every of her toys. She still has a toy that her birth parent sent with her when I got her. I mean, can you believe that? And she still gets that one out and plays with it and still loves it. So I think that's pretty terrific. I really do. She is a joy. She is a joy to spend time with. All right, so we are live on Facebook, WCRS 98.5 FM, /1450 AM. I can report, should be by Wednesday, maybe Tuesday evening, that our WCRS YouTube channel will be live, and you'll be able to go there and watch any and all of the videos that we have posted. You know, here's that word again, used to do this all the time. We did videos and we didn't do Facebook Live. We just did YouTube years ago and posted all the interviews. So if you go through the archives, you'll actually see stuff from back, 2010, 2011, way back then. And then it's going to jump forward here, and we will be posting all the videos, both the morning show, afternoon show, and if we go live at some special event or something. So be prepared. Things are about to become easier. If you're not a Facebook person, you certainly can do that. Although I like you to watch on Facebook and participate. And starting next week, we're going to start, I've got some ideas on how you can win prizes if you tune in right here on WCRS. So that's another thing we'll be adding. All right, this afternoon, just a little housekeeping. This afternoon on WCRS, the Toros girls team that went to Plano, Texas. This will be the 2011-2012 girls team, are going to come on and tell us about this experience. So I'm really looking forward to getting information from their perspective. They did a lot of fun things. They competed. It was hot. Some of them the first time on an airplane. And I'm just looking forward to have a neat conversation and get them to share their experiences with going to Plano, Texas, And what the future holds for next year. That's what I want to know. How do they think they're going to do next year? And has it focused them any on how to compete? Regardless of what they did in Plano, Texas, they are state champions, which from little old Greenwood is a pretty big honor. So regardless, I think that is pretty darn cool. All right, so that'll be going on right here at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Tomorrow afternoon, we will have, who will we have? Superintendent of Schools for the great state of South Carolina, Ellen Weaver. Lots of people are interested to hear what Ellen has to say about some of the issues. I think one of the issues that I think is important is the funding for the schools and how they came up with this formula that gave a lot of heartburn to our public schools as how to deal with the budgeting. I know our people, Rodney Smith and his team over there, have worked very hard to reduce costs. And in fact, we'll go ahead and start talking about that one right now. The budget, in the end, I'm rounding numbers here, not going with the exact dollars. Although if you will go back and watch it on the District 50's website, you can see what they came up with. 94 million plus. We'll just say it that way. And so that is where that budget is. Is that the final budget? Yes, the final budget, 94, 89 billion expanded. They hope that they will have a deficit. They just don't know how much. They are the revenue. Okay, wait a minute. I'm getting confused here now. Let's see here. Let's do it this way. Okay, the budget is 97 plus change. The salaries for the school district 89.6. They took out some positions that they would have done, but they took them out. They were people that were retiring, not coming back, so they did not add or advertise or fill those positions, so they did do that by attrition. I didn't realize that the G. Frank Russell has a budget separate, but I should have, because actually on your taxes, I believe that is a separate category. So that is something that, so we have really two school budgets. We have the budget from the overall budget, and then we have the G. Frank Russell budget. So they have done a tremendous job with trying to bring this together so that they have it that they can deal with. They are going to have to take about $2.5 million from their general fund unless the state comes in and does something. They are still waiting to see if the state is going to come in and do something. So that's where we're at as far as that. It'll be August before you know what they will have for a deficit, because they don't know how much money is actually coming in from tax collections on our local county and on the state. So, but they do have anticipations of about how much will be coming, but they just don't know exactly what will be coming in. So, 94 million. 89 million expanded, and they will have to take about $2.5 million. That's really the bottom line to this. Big budget, big budget, and again, they've worked very, very hard to do this. But again, it'll be August before they know the exact amount of the deficit. Then they will take the money from the general fund and put it over there to cover that. So, that's what they've got. They're very excited about their new field house over there at Greenwood High School. That facility will be ready in August, and it is on time and looking good. So that is good. I do want to say Rodney said in the 19 years, Rodney Smith did say last night when they were doing the budget, that 19 years he has never seen such a difficult budget as this one. So he says it's a bare bones. There's nothing left. There's nothing left that they can take out. Whew. That's pretty much says it all, I think. So I may have the figures wrong here. I wrote these down as I was doing this. But the bottom line is, whatever the budget is, they believe they will have to take $2.5 million out of the general fund to cover it. This, of course, long term is not sustainable, but they felt that this was a good situation. They did give the 1,500 teaching to the teachers, 2% raise for bus drivers, and a stipend for all other employees, and a $460 charges for health care starting in January. Not really sure exactly what that one means, but that is something that could be coming to the teachers and school staff over there in District 50. They had $88 billion from the state budget that had to be divided up, and that's where the big problem came from. So that's a little bit. I just wanted to get some of that out there for you so that you know what exactly is happening on the school board. Even though we don't know exactly, we do know they're $2.5 million short, and they are going to take it from their general fund. It is sustainable for this year. It is not sustainable long term. They are hopeful that more dollars will be coming from the state, but there are no guarantees on that. I did want to mention, they did mention last night that Emerald High School is serving up the summer meals program. 92,000 meals have been prepared? And just, that is phenomenal, and they still aren't over. So if you're in District 50, you can sign up for summer meals, and they give them out. I think it's on Thursdays that they give them out. But this is a blessing for those that need food, and congratulations. But 92,000 meals, that's a lot of meals pumped out. I think that's in a week. I can't believe you could make that many meals. But anyways, that is what they are doing. So the budget is done. It was approved for the school district. They're going to rock with it this year if they cannot sustain this. They did say they're having good conversations with their state legislators here from Greenwood, and because they are very judicious with their budget, they feel there's a good chance that things may improve. All right. So what else have we got going on here this morning? I'm sure you know that there's supposed to be a ceasefire going on over in between Iran and Israel. Yesterday, Israel gave it a little because Iran was still sending out threats to them. I think what I read last night, and I found this very interesting, is that it's not that Iran was trying to win the war or stay in the game. They were trying to prove to their people that they were still fighting the good fight. And they were trying to make an impression. They didn't want to admit defeat to their people because actually, quite frankly, that would cause more problems than we all can imagine if the people rose up in Iran, which could happen. So Iran was trying to keep their people to believing that everything was okay. And so that is why they continued to send bombs. At least that was one theory that was out out there. I found that most interesting. So they still, Israel is saying this morning, Iran is still not honoring the ceasefire. We'll see exactly where that goes. Hopefully they will be at a ceasefire. President Trump has headed to the NATO summit, and I'm sure that's going to be most interesting. Spain has already said, hell no, we're not going to pay that 5% that Trump wants. We're going to stay, I think they're at 2% or 1.5%. We'll see what happens there. Trump believes that NATO allies, after what they have all been through over there, needs to up their dollars to 5% of their gross national product. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But others have already said, yes, they're going to do it. I think the biggest thing that dropping the bombs on Iran's nuclear facilities, it has now put America back in the catbird seat. And instead of people wondering where America is, they now know that America is there and America is back. You know, we've always had pride in our country, pride in ourselves, and it's good. It feels good, doesn't it, to have it back? So that's another topic right there. All right, moving forward here. When we talk about, I just want to mention this. I've talked a little bit about the board meeting at the District 50. If you have questions about what the state is doing on education, I mean, we got vouchers, we've got a lot of issues coming up, charter schools, private schools, public schools, and we are going to have Ellen Weaver on tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock. It is going to be a call-in interview. We'll have about half an hour to discuss things with her. But what my point is that we need, if you have a question, if there's something you'd like me to ask, please don't wait till the afternoon when I'm on the air live. It becomes hard to get those questions in. So you can text or call 864-229-7984. That's 864-229-7984. Please let me know in advance so I can put it in with the questions. All right. What else did I want to talk about here this morning? I wanted to talk about people are saying it's cooler in the mountains. No, I'm not going to talk about that. Although it is good to see that the mountains are coming back. It's been, it'll be a year, the end of September, 1st of October, it'll be a year since that horrible hurricane, but a lot of places are advertising that they're back, that you can go, and I certainly hope that people will look at the mountains as a place to go to. Certainly will be a little cooler. I've seen a lot of things on Facebook where people are enjoying the cool. But I wanted to talk about, we have two candidates that are now in the race. And so this is gonna catapult a lot of people to make decisions on whether to run or not. For example, Alan Wilson, our Attorney General, has just said, I want to be the governor of the great state of South Carolina. Now, I believe it's still 5 months away till they can actually register to be an official candidate. But there are candidates already jumping in. Alan Wilson is in it to win it. That's right. So he's in it to win it. We of course have had Alan Wilson on. He's actually coming on Thursday afternoon. We're going to be talking about an important topic that you may have heard something about in City Council. This idea that it's been put forth there about a ordinance for hate crimes here in Greenwood. And in the last meeting of City Council, Mayor Brandon Smith said under the advisement of their attorney, they were not going to be putting forth an amendment, not going to be putting forth a hate crime ordinance to see where it went. They would not be doing it. something about it being legal or not legal. I think the question is not legal. So I am going to be getting the official opinion from our own Attorney General right here on the radio Thursday afternoon. You know, there have been many other municipalities that have already passed this hate crime ordinance, and one county has passed a hate crime ordinance. It's either Richland or Lexington, I don't remember. The question is it legal? Is it legal? That is truly the question. So Alan Wilson is going to come on, talk about his campaign, but he's also going to be talking about this hate crime ordinance and the actual legality. So we will be getting the official opinion of our state's attorney right here on WCRS Thursday afternoon, 5:05. We will be with Alan Wilson. All right, so Alan Wilson had a big meet and greet in Lexington at Hudson Smokehouse as Wilson took the platform with his family. It was a packed building. It is a small Lexington County barbecue restaurant. So I will say this, it had to be packed because there wasn't much room in it. So, you know, you can't really gauge much of anything by that. He says that in his nomination, he says, I was able to be a voice for a person who had no voice. This is the moment when I became committed to dedicating my life to public service. That same commitment to service is what led me to run for Attorney General, and it's what drives me today. So he, of course, he's 51, and he is the son of Joe Wilson, who has served in the House of Representatives in Washington, D.C. for many years. But he himself was challenged the Obama and the Biden administrations in numerous federal lawsuits to include multi-state actions in his twice elected role as chairman of the Republican Attorneys General Association. They've included the vaccine mandates, environmental regulations, transgender issues, student loan cancellations, immigration, and the Affordable Care Act. And that's right, we are on the radio listening on WCRS 98.5 FM, 1450 AM, and streaming at WCRS1450am.net. We also are live on Facebook at WCRS 98.5 FM /1450 AM. We're talking about Alan Wilson and his bid for governor. I don't think anybody had any doubt that Alan was going to run. It just was when he was on our show WCRS a couple of weeks ago. I tried to get him to commit because I could have gotten a twofer that way. I could have gotten Alan Wilson, and then I followed it up with David Stumbo. But Alan Wilson said, I'm still thinking about it. But all his actions said, no, I'm going for it, and he has. He has defended multiple challenges to the state's 6 weeks abortion ban. He pushed to create the state human trafficking task force, which he leads, and he has championed legislation criminalizing artificially generated child porn, which became law earlier this year, and has sought protections for victims of sex crimes. So those are some of the things that he has done, and he is going to be trying to make his case that he should be the next governor of the state of South Carolina. Of course, you may remember Henry McMaster was also the Attorney General of the great state of South Carolina. And so that is it is a sensible direction for somebody to go that, because number one, it's a high priority position, and So we will see where this goes. Then there is also another candidate that jumped in yesterday. Josh Kimbrell of Boiling Springs, South Carolina, has formally announced his candidacy for the governorship of the Palmetto State per a news release. He is a former radio host, and he ran unsuccessfully for the U.S. Congress in 2018, prior to knocking off a veteran Democratic lawmaker in 2020 to win his seat in the South Carolina Senate. According to his supporters, the 40-year-old businessman has emerged over the last 4 years as one of the more consistently conservative members of the Senate chamber. However, he is a junior. He is a junior member, meaning he doesn't have the power or head of committees and everything yet. But his press release touts him as a proven conservative leader who defeated a 30-year Democratic incumbent, delivered the state's largest income tax, and championed landmark legislation like the Heartbeat Bill and constitutional carry. He did say that back in March that he was going to form an exploratory committee. I guess he feels there is enough interest in his campaign to be able to move it forward. Of note, this is always most interesting. Because he was just reelected, he can run for governor. And if he is not successful, he still has his seat in the Senate. So that's an interesting. There are several people out there that are going to be in that position, as is David Stumbo. David Stumbo is rumored. Maybe he'll make the announcement on WCRS. I got to call him. Anyways, David Stumbo has been waiting for Alan Wilson to announce, and now he has the pressure to decide to run. And so our own David Stumbo, who is solicitor in our area, may be running. However, interesting to note, another case where if he does not win the Attorney General office, he still can have his solicitor office. So it's not very often that you have a situation like that. But in this case, with the election coming up for governor and state's attorney, that this is possible. So just FYI. Kimbrell knows how to use media because he's been a radio personality. I think he had a radio show. What was it called? Common Sense, I think. I think that was it. Common Sense, CENTS. And he says, I'm fighting for a stronger, freer state rooted in our founding principles. On June 28th, I'll share a vision to put faith first, protect our republic, and build a future of opportunity for every South Carolinian. So he's going to unveil his bold plans to save South Carolina at 12 p.m. this Friday, June 28th, at Bowen's Landing in Inman, South Carolina, during Carolina Day celebrations. The event is open to the public and will include food, music, and high-energy momentum for South Carolina's conservative future. So he is running. Of course, we still don't know, although I think we do know, Nancy Mace wants to run. Alan Wilson is in the race. Nancy Mace is still considering her run. Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evett and Congressman Ralph Norman thinks he wants to run for governor. I think we talked a little bit about this yesterday. You may remember Ralph Norman has been kind of a, what shall we call him, a cantankerous Republican. He does not always support Donald Trump in this MAGA revolution that is going on. He also was a big supporter of Nikki Haley, if you may remember. He thought Nikki Haley would have been an excellent choice. He traveled with her everywhere. So that's just another aspect of this. If Ralph Norman jumps in, that's really going to change things up. Of course, if he jumps in, then Ralph Norman's seat will be opened up because, again, House of Representatives have to run every 2 years. So there's another story for you about what is happening in our state. These are things that always amaze me. I love watching who thinks they have what it takes. And of course, what it always comes down to this. M-O-N-E-Y, money. It always comes down to who has the most money. I do think that it is unfortunate that it is all about the money. I personally, when I am looking at a candidate that is running, I like to see a wide variety of support. It bothers me when a candidate has there you go, that's what I want. It bothers me that when I see one or two large dollars being put into a candidate, because that means that they can control you. And so I'd much rather see smaller donations coming from a lot of people. That's just me personally. And of course, I also like to see that a candidate puts their own money into it. If a candidate is putting their own money into it, they are saying, I believe in what I am doing. So I'll be interested to see as these candidates wind it up and show up for what they're going to be putting forth I'll be wanting to see who's supporting these candidates, not just what the news is saying, what the figures say as far as who is supporting. So that's just a little FYI when you're looking at where a candidate is coming from, how they're doing it. Where does the money come from? All right, now I wanted to talk about. Let's see. No, I wanted the. Okay, where is that? I got everything closed out here this morning, so I lost all my information. I know better. I saw last night, I'll just go ahead and do it from memory, the case of the whether that South Carolina Supreme Court is going to agree that it is legal for this in-district expense that is going to start being paid July 1st is coming up. And so I was trying to find out where this was at. Well, evidently they have been going back and forth with written briefs and everything and haven't done a true presentation, a trial type thing on this. And as of, June 16th, I think the Supreme Court had asked for information on this. They are supposed to make a decision on this by June 30th, which is next Monday. So watch for something like that. But it is conceivable that they don't actually have a trial, that the Supreme Court just hands down their opinion on this. I had thought there actually would be a trial, and I kept waiting, but the bottom line is they are not probably going to do that. They probably are going to just put this forth for consideration from the Supreme Court of South Carolina. So people that all these legislators that are planning on this money may not get it. Let's hope not. Let's hope they have to go back to the drawing board for it. I don't have a problem. I do not have a problem with them getting a increase. But I think it should be called what it is. If it's a raise, then it needs to go in the raise category. Let's not put it as in-district expense. Require no expense report showing how they spend it or anything, and then put it over there under it's actually taxable income. Without having to show. If it's in-district expense, let's show what the in-district expense is. Is $2,500 a month too much in district expense? I kind of think it is. And is it fair to the voters to not have a say about how they feel about this increase in their pay? Actually, who do they work for? They work for us, the people. So with this, the way they did it, this will be effective as of July 1st. They will never stand in front of the public and say, yes, I support this increase. Yes, I need this increase. Or as some have signed and said, no, I will not accept it. I think an independent committee coming up with a reasonable, not $1,500 a month, which was an $18,000 a year raise. Is that right? Yes. Would have made a lot more sense to me. So, $1,500 a month. Let's see. I think I'm wrong on that. Times 12. Yeah, $18,000 a year raise. I think there should have been something more reasonable. I think this should have been more vetted. I did not believe that could go through since the House never took it up and was only something the Senate did. But the Senate was sneaky. They put it in the conference potential budget items, and guess what? They did it. However, 37 people have said they would not accept it. We're now waiting on the House, the Supreme Court of South Carolina, to give us the answer. Will they go for it, or will they kick it back and say, don't pay it? The treasurer is ready to pay it if they want it paid. If they don't, he's ready to not pay it. So we'll just have to see. Of note, if you haven't been following that, that's $3.2 million increase for all the House and Senate members if it was totally accepted. All right, that's a few of the things that I have here to talk about. I actually had a couple more interesting articles, but I guess we will just pass on those since I've talked so much about all these other things. Now, let's do a couple of things that are coming up that you might want to know about. Let's go over here and see what we got. What do we got this morning? I tell you what, the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, one of my favorite bands, is going to be at the Earl Scruggs Music Festival. That is in the North Carolina foothills at the Earl Scruggs Music Festival. Alan Krauss is going to be there. This is going to be a huge group. And this is coming up, the end of August 29th to the 31st. Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. How about that? Allison Krauss. I mean, there's a whole huge group. It's a huge festival. But I think that would be a great one to see in that environment. Okay, let's talk about the summer meals real quick. Emerald High School pick up 7 days of breakfast and lunch, serving Thursdays, June 5th through July 10th, 9 to 12. Serving all children and teens 18 and under. Children do not need to be present to receive a meal. Parents or guardians may pick up meals which are available to take or go. All right, so this is a huge thing, and this is where the 92,000 meals have already been done. I think it was over 1 week, so that is huge. Okay, coming up this Saturday is the South Carolina Festival of Stars. One of the things they are having is a cruise in. Saturday, June 28th, 10 to 2, $100 payout every 30 minutes plus 70% payout of entry fees at the end. This is really a really big show. I hope if you're going to be over there, you'll check out all the cars. I love old cars, the classics, even some of the hot rods and some of the things. So this is going to be a huge show. Of course, they're going to have food vendors, amusement rides, live music. I mean, it's the South Carolina Festival of Stars, and it looks like it is going to be a hot one. All right, so, and I do want to mention, Hurricane Helene. We all know the devastation that it brought to our area. The Greenwood YMCA camp was very badly damaged. You may remember us talking about it. It had would have cost between $50,000 and $70,000 to remove the storm debris, clean it up, and get it ready to use. Well, you may also know that they were not able to use it this summer because it was deemed unsafe down there in the woods. So they are having camp at the Y and out in back of the building. And they got all kinds of stuff going on. I think the kids are still having a fabulous time. But I want to give a big shout out this morning to James Long and his crew at Lakeland's Overhead Doors. There's a post on Facebook from Jonathan Bass, and he says, "We've made major progress. About 90% of the cleanup is now complete thanks to some amazing partners. James Long and his crew at Lakeland's Overhead Doors have gone above and beyond, clearing, hauling away debris for just a tiny fraction of the cost." Well, I get a mention in there too. Ann Eller with WCRS has helped us share our story and rally support, and the incredible volunteers from Team Rubicon work tirelessly to cut and stack trees, make it even possible for us to begin cleanup. We still have a lot of work to do if we want our camp fully restored and ready for next summer. This has been a huge win for the YMCA. A lot of places would have just given up and said, can't do it, not going to do it. Well, I guess we'll just make another plan, have a big tent up under the building, up on the top part. But not the YMCA here in Greenwood. They have persisted. There was an outcrying of so many people who have said they grew up there, they enjoyed the camp there, that a lot of people got on board to help. So Team Rubicon came on board, cut up a lot of the trees, got a lot of it ready to be cleaned up, but there still was a lot of work to do. James Long and his crew came in there and has done an amazing job of cleaning it, getting it ready. They still have work to do. What I'd like to say to you today is, if you'd like to help us finish the job, either with cleanup or repairs, you can donate to the link below at lakelandsymca.org/donate/. And when you go to that link, I just want to tell you, when you go to that link, you can make a one-time donation, you can make a recurring donation, you can select a campaign you would like to donate to. The most in need would be the one, and you can even specify that it's actually for the camp cleanup. If you have some way that you can help, please reach out to them, Jonathan Bass, and talk to them about how you can help. This is the YMCA. The YMCA is such a community partner here in our community. And they are always willing to help. You may remember when there was no emergency shelter, and we had people that needed oxygen for their just to survive. The Y came on board, put in DSS was right there, taking care of people that needed oxygen, having cots in their gym. They totally committed to our community. So this is a time where if you appreciate what the Y does, if your children have been to the Y, if you go to the Y, if you have good memories of going to the Y and being at the camp, maybe you want to organize a campaign to get it done. You can find out more from them at the Y, what it's going to take to finish it. But the YMCA is a vital partner in our community, and I certainly hope that we can get behind helping finish that camp. We were so hopeful. That we would have it ready for this summer, but it got inspected and they said you just can't do it. So they've made other alternatives. I think they have over 100 kids in their summer program, camp program. I think I heard they could have about 180, but they had to cut it off because they just didn't have the space to be able to put that many children. So summer camp has been a real boon for the YMCA. So, and for our community. Soccer, they're getting ready to sign up for soccer. I'll have more details about that later. But to me, it's really important that we come together as a community, and help fix this very valuable resource for our kids and for future generations to be able to have that camp experience that so many children have enjoyed and grown up with. I can remember being on the radio talking about this back during Hurricane Helene, after the hurricane and the cleanup had begun. And so many kids go, "No, you've got to fix it." Kids that had just grown out of it maybe, or maybe they had been in it, and they just wanted me to know that they love the YMCA day camp. So please help if you can. I was going to say you could get a church group together to put together some funds. You could also contact the Y and see if there's any activities that a group could get together and help with the cleanup. So that's just something I wanted to go over here. What else do we have? This is interesting. The Lakeland's Lady Lunch and Bingo, Thursday, June 26th. Lunch and shopping begin at 11 a.m., bingo at 12, $10 bingo swag bag, and 4 rounds of bingo. This is at the Lighthouse Pizza and Subs, 540 Landing Road in Cross Hill. Pizza buffet, salad bar, drinks, and ice cream, $11. Players must be 18 or older. Ladies only, cash only, please. I think that sounds really cool. They also say bring a book for the little free library and receive a 5th card. So there you go. That sounds like a pretty cool thing. So that is Thursday, June 26th, and that will be at the Lighthouse Pizza and Subs, 549 Landing Road. Hope it's cool and hope that people come out and support that. And I just have too much to talk about. I'm sorry. But I did want to talk about the Greenwood Police Department and the Guardian ad litem took Miss Dendy and Miss Bundrick from the Guardian ad litem Division of South Carolina Department of Children's Advocacy. I don't know about you, but do you ever see that commercial on TV where they're in a courtroom and there's this little girl holding a teddy bear? And it's either the judge or the sheriff. There's a sheriff deputy, I think, but there's a judge, and they're asking who speaks for this child. Who speaks for this child? And people that are in the gallery in the courtroom get up and keep leaving, and this little girl is just sitting there wondering who will speak for her. To me, it's a very powerful commercial. After the courtroom, the deputy goes out in the hallways and said, "Is there anyone here to speak for this child?" And of course, in that instance, there was nobody there to speak for that child. I find that horrible. And that's why I have always been so positive, although I haven't done a lot of work with, but we are going to try to find some people to talk to about this. The Guardian ad litem program that is here in South Carolina. It's a very quiet program that works hard to make sure that the children who have no voice have a voice when it comes to how they're taken care of. So Ms. Dendy is the director of the local office serving both Greenwood and Abbeville communities. These care packages were designed to be handed out to children to help ease the transition from emergency custody until they can be placed with another guardian. They contain a few comfort items, and the bag itself can be used for anything the child needs to take with them should they be relocated. So this is a huge organization that it's a small organization, actually, is what I should say, that does amazing work as being the voice of children. You know, when you're in court cases and this type of thing, and there's nobody there to speak for what the child might like or to get an opinion from a child, this is such a valuable resource. Over the years, I've known people that have worked in this organization, and I've always been amazed at how caring, concerned, and what they do. So, the South Carolina Department of Children's Advocacy is the overall program. This is the Guardian Ad Litem Division, and they brought these bags to the Sheriff's Department to hand out. I think that is terrific. I was in Greenville Saturday afternoon, and I saw a police car, sheriff's deputy's car, anyways, and up on the dashboard was a teddy bear, just sitting on the dashboard, and it reminded me how our children are always some of the biggest victims that we don't always think of. And having that teddy bear, having these bags can be such a comfort to children who don't know what's happening. So we're going to try to see if we can get some information about this and have a guest, and maybe we can create more interest here in Greenwood because it is a fabulous organization. If you'd like more information, you can go to childadvocate.sc.gov. That's childadvocate.sc.gov. Great program. Really, really great program. I know I have more to talk about, but I'm going to give it up. I just want you to know I'm going to give it up. Today, Tuesday, I will say this. The Humane Society is having their affordable spay-neuter clinic. I'm sure that is full for today, but I do know, I don't see the dates right here. I do know they have a date coming up in July and one coming up in August. The Carolina Place Animal Mobile Spay and Neuter Clinic is here in Greenwood today. They do not only do they do spay neuters of cats, dogs, and rabbits. Rabbits get spayed and neutered too. But they also do dog vaccines, cat vaccines, tests for heartworms, and do blood work and microchip and all this other stuff. So it's a tremendous service to our community. If you really care about your pets and what is happening in Greenwood with the explosion of kittens and dogs, get your animals spayed. I don't care what they say. People have got to take responsibility. Spay and neuter. Have a happy, uninterested sex cat or dog that's happy just to be with you. So think about it. Think about it. I'm waiting on Penny when we can get her spayed because we're just not going to be adding any more to this household, and that's what I have to say about that. All right, I'm Ann Eller. This is WCRS right here in Greenwood. Good stuff happening in our community, lots of stuff happening in our community, and I try to keep you updated as much as I can. And make sure you tune in this afternoon when we are going to have the Toros 2011-2012 state championships, I might add. State champions that went to Plano, Texas, had a great time, and they're going to be sharing some of their experience with us. That's going to do it for me. Thanks for tuning in today on WCRS Radio. Have a great day. That's it. That's a wrap. let's end this show. Okay, let's end this show. And Penny's going. Come on, Ann, get out of here. All right, I am out of here. Bye-bye, everybody. This is WCRS Radio.